Hey everyone, if you're looking for a plum look that would be appropriate not only for work but for a night out, I think you will definitely like this tutorial. It's using a new palette that I have called Plum Crazy from Luscious, and it's got a really great selection of plum colors ranging from your lightest to the darkest, and some really bright fun shades in between. Some are matte, some have a little shimmer, and they're just really fun to play with. There are a lot of variations you could do on this look with this palette or with other plum shades you might already have in your collection. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial and keep on watching. First step is to apply a primer to your lid. I'm going to use my Luscious Shadow Magnet in Light. It's just a really kind of tacky primer. It keeps just a little bit of moisture on the lid just to grab that powder, and I find that some primers almost go to a powdery state, and if you're looking for color intensity, I think you want one that's actually going to be a little bit tacky. You just have to put it on really light and you really won't get any creasing with this. Okay, so I'm just patting it on super light layer there. And then I'm going to use my Luscious palette here in Plum Crazy. This is another one of the new ones. I used the one called Erotic Mermaid. It was the shades of blue that I used in the Smoke on the Water tutorial. And these are a lot more pigmented than any other palettes I've tried from them other than matte, one of the neutral matte quads that I had. But anyway, I'm going to go to the light lilac shade that's in this, and they actually give you a little brush that has two ends on it, and this smallish eyeshadow brush is actually really good and really great for, you know, just packing color on the lid. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with that lilac shade here. I'm actually going to use my little mirror. And just pack that on all over the lid. And by packing, I mean I'm just kind of doing a patting motion with the shadow. Not so much a back and forth blending motion. And we'll kind of deal with the tear duct area in a moment, but yeah, this has just a hint of shimmer to it, but most of these shadows are relatively matte, and that's what makes the intensity a lot better to work with, I think. So I've got that all over the lid. Then I'm going to go to this shade right here, second from the end, and it does have a hint of sparkle to it, and it's sort of like a deep kind of orchid shade. And for that, I'm going to take that same brush, dust it off a little bit here, get some of that color and work that in on the outside. Really, really pretty. This can even make a nice, like, subtle crease color, this shade can. And I'm just putting it on, you can see the outer half of my lid and a little bit up there into the crease. And if you have comparable shades, you know, by all means, if you got a, you know, a palette of purples that you like to work with, maybe this will just give you some application ideas with them, although there are some really unique colors in this palette that you'll see me get to in a minute. Okay, so I've got that all over. Next we're going to start working with a little bit deeper color. It's the deepest shade in this palette. It's a matte, really deep plum shade. So I'm going to grab my Sonia Kashuk medium shadow brush, just dip it right in there, get it sort of on the tip, and then we're going to work this right into our crease. Just like so. Kind of giving it a little lighter touch as we get more towards the inner corner, but as far as the outside goes, yeah, just get it in the crease there. And just kind of pull out that little motion we've talked about before. I know, just kind of getting it right concentrated here. That's where you want the most depth, and then pulling that color up and out. Next step is really the color in this palette that catches your eye. It's this gorgeous kind of magenta, like violet magenta. I'm trying to get it so the light really hits it right in here. It's so pretty. It is matte, and I just think this color could be used in a very, very vibrant way. I'm going to take my Sephora rounded crease brush, get some of that color on there. A little bit goes a long way, and we're just going to kind of overlap that plum. That's just some more of our deep shade giving us contrast. We're going to overlap that to give it a little more color and punch up in here. So you can see it's turning more of a pinky tone here. Oh, nothing beats that warm kind of, you know, purpley pink look there. Love that. And I'm just kind of going over it. I'm building up the intensity. This is a very buildable shadow here. And you're just building up that kind of plummy pink look. Okay, and then for our highlight, remember that lilac shade we put on the lid? Very, very light application on the brush. And we're just going to take that right up to the brow. Okay, next step, just before we get on with the liner, I'm going to also take that lilac shade and my very, very tiny detail brush here from Coastal Scents. It's the C148 Mini Contour, and get some of that lilac on there. And just kind of use it to brighten this inner corner. Giving you that really pretty kind of wide awake look, even though we are using some liner, that will really kind of still make the eye look awake. Next, I'm going to take my Revlon Colorstay liquid liner in Blackest Black, and it's just got this nice little fine pointed tip here. I'm going to go from the inner to outer corner here. Sorry, deep concentration. A little dot of something came off of there. I can get rid of that in a second. Huh? Sometimes it helps to let any little like dots like that get on your eye somewhere to let them dry, and then they'll just kind of flick right off with a Q-tip or like a pointed Q-tip. And I'm just going to extend this slightly right outside the corner of my eye there. Next, I'm going to use my Almay eyeliner in black, and this is just kind of a soft black liner. And I'm just going to go to my outer corner rather, and just kind of flick that up towards the liner that's already there, that liquid liner. Just like that. And then just go in just a little ways here on the line. Sorry if you haven't been able to see that. And then we're going to go in with some shadow to actually finish the liner. Finishing off the liner look, I'm taking my Coastal Scents Taklon liner brush, going to the deep matte plum shade, and I'm just going to overlap what's been done here with that. Softening it up a little bit and just keeping the color nice and deep there in the corner. And we're just going to about our halfway point, and that's when we'll switch it up a little bit. And I'm going to go to the bright shade right here. That's the one that we kind of used to give ourselves that warm color there. And just going to apply that right there on the inner corner. We're overlapping some of that light shade that we used in the tear duct and meeting right up with the dark plum. Key is overlapping. Don't just stop where something else starts. And if you want to go through and just give a little more brightness there, feel free to take any kind of detail brush, or a Q-tip can sometimes work for this step if you don't have one of these little tiny brushes. Just kind of go over it. Next, I'm going to curl my lashes, and I'm going to be using my Maybelline Lash Discovery Mascara. It's got a tiny, tiny brush. Just absolutely teensy. And I really, really like this mascara. I think it's really lengthening and it really finds every lash. And so I'm going to put that on, and then I'll join you with the finished look. Hey everyone, here is the finished look. Just a pretty soft, plummy pink look that you could take to school, to work, or wherever you're going. On my lips, I used my Wet Slicks by CoverGirl Amazement. That's the kind with the real minty, like crest infused lip gloss. And this is in Everything's Rosy. So I slicked that on, and then I took my Jordana lip liner, Easy Liner for Lips in Plush Plum. And after I had the gloss on, I just kind of lightly went around with that, and it just kind of managed to deepen the color just a little bit, make it a little more plum toned. And then on my cheeks, I'm using the CoverGirl blush in Plum Berry Glow. So that has just a little bit of shimmer to it, gives you that kind of radiant, more pink toned look as opposed to the peachy, bronzy, you know, goldeny tones. So I hope you like this look. This palette is really fantastic for the fact that it has so many like really vibrant matte shades in here that allow the look to really pop on your eyes. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and have a great day.